Good morning, everybody. Happy post-Thanksgiving Cyber Monday. This is Carter Wilcoxon with CSI Financial Group. We've got some very exciting stuff to update everybody on our State of the Union address here today. Everybody should be able to see my screen. As a reminder, there's a question area that you can, if you want to ask a question, everybody's muted. This morning, if you have a question, please put that in the question box. But I am very, very excited about what it is that we have officially launched, and an area that is super exciting with the results that we've had already with regards to being able to help out not only our advisor partners with their client acquisition initiatives, but also what we're going to be able to do is go and help a lot of what we call in these cause-related marketing, and everybody should be seeing this on their screen right now, the nonprofit and charities. That whole area is something that we have tapped into that is a win-win situation for everybody that's involved in the whole entire situation. With that, I'm not sure, Stacy, are you on with us? Can you hear us okay? I'm waiting for Stacy.
I'm here. I'm here with you.
Perfect. Awesome. So Stacy is on here. We also have Andrew Victor, who is very instrumental in some of the things that we've been developing with regards to some areas of expertise, some specialized estate planning. What a lot of people may have heard of charitable remainder trust. We've been putting together some really, really awesome stuff that he and I will discuss, I'm sure, here in a second, but he's on here as well. Andrew, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you great, loud and clear.
All right, perfect, awesome. Hey, well, you know, before we get started, in the handout section in your control box on the right-hand side of your screen, you see on your screen our eState plan cause-related marketing. This is a marketing piece that, as we go through this, what I want everybody to understand is that you don't have to know everything we're going to be talking about. You just have to be able to recognize that there is a section out there in America that we've really addressed with our nonprofit, what we call our cause-related marketing division, if you will. Stacy and I, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about our very first conversation we had with the VP of gift planning for a very large foundation that's been around for 118 years. These VPs of gift planning that we're speaking with, or the one we actually have an additional follow-through conversation with later today, they need what it is that we have put together for them. Andrew and myself and Phil Hotchkiss, who is the Chief Wealth Strategist for Trust Bank and our corporate trustee that is aligned with us, we had a meeting over the weekend. And Andrew, maybe you want to touch on just a little bit about, from the ground level, when a corporate trustee who talks with nonprofits, share with the audience today what you and I and Phil sort of discovered in our meeting with regards to how he's normally out there talking with nonprofits, and how we are addressing and being able to bring together all of the things that are needed to really help the fundraising efforts that these nonprofits are trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about so many things on Saturday. So, you know, one of the things that Phil was very excited about is the ability for a donor to one of these charities to be able to buy a block of trusts as a gift to the charity, and then have that charity through its own marketing programs reach out to their donor base to generate significant support in terms of dollars now, but also dollars later in the overall planning that they want to do.
Yeah, that was something that he literally, you know, after we went through everything and how we showed him how we can, everybody wins in this scenario. the nonprofit, the charity wins, our advisor partners win, the corporate trustee that we've aligned with wins. Everybody in this entire situation, when you're looking for a win-win situation, while also trying to help yourself out with client acquisition, this nonprofit direction that we are going, we're going to be continuing to refine all of this stuff. But Stacy, I want to go ahead and bring Stacy Pearson in. Stacy, if you don't mind, let's just kind of share this level. I'm going to scroll down here. Let's just scroll down to the level 1. And we want to sort of give everybody a baseline and a foundation to help them understand that you don't have to know all of these things yet. Just know and be able to recognize the things that we're going to be able to help you out with, to be able to get into a lot of churches, you know, to other different organizations that you may be connected to already, and be thinking about influencers in those nonprofits. But you will have a team now to be able to come in and do all of this stuff for you. All you have to be able to do is recognize and then get us in a conversation with those decision makers to really help us to be able to help them raise funds. So Stacy, go ahead and let's talk a little bit about the success that we've already had, and an additional follow-up with that that foundation that's been around for a very long time, that has over 200,000 contributing donors that we're going to potentially be able to message to help them with their estate planning needs, and how they were very, using the gift planning VP's words, intrigued with what we're able to bring to the table for them.
Hi, everybody. Excuse me. Yes, I'm very excited to be able to talk to you about this. This has been a program that's been being created for some time now, and to finally be able to message this is very exciting. So a lot of you have had training with me on the charitable cause marketing, and this is just some of the details that that we have now from that. So if you took the training on charitable cause, this is deeper than that was. So that was kind of the headlines, and these are the details. One of the things to remember is that on the infographic, the level 1 does not cause the charity to have to spend any money. And that's really important, because one of the things that we're learning as we work with these charities and talk with them is that they are used to a charge being charged to them by companies who want to donate to them. So it's kind of funny how a company will come in and say, oh yeah, we want to bring donors to you, we want to do some cause marketing, but it's going to cost you in legal fees, it's going to cost you in consulting fees. We'll come and talk to your board, but there's going to be a fee for that. And it's just like they're milking these charities every step of the way. And when we say that there's no cost to the charity on level 1, we mean that. There's no cost to the charity. And so what we want you to do as advisors is to add an extra question to every questionnaire that you have. And that question is, are you affiliated in some way with a charity or nonprofit, with a ministry or a charity of some sort? And the reason why is because in your client base, you're going to have clients who are board members of a ministry or a charity. I saw ministries are set up like charities, but sometimes I mention those separately because people think of a charity like Make-A-Wish Foundation, but they forget that their own church is also a charity. So sometimes if you throw that word out there, it helps them to trigger other ideas. And you will run across people who are volunteering, who are supporters. We actually had an advisor who was asking this question and came across one of the largest donors for a very large charity. And it was through that large donor that we had a door open to us. And so I want to just encourage you to always ask the question. If you're not asking the question, you're never going to be able to bring people to the table. And so we are going to be able to offer to charities at level 1 an ability for them to message to their supporters that we have this eState plan that they feel is something that will help their donor base be healthy and whole financially and have a good experience. When their estate is settled, their family will have a good experience. The things that they want to have happen philanthropically will be insured. And this is also a problem that charities have, is that they will have donors come in and want to make a large gift happen through their estate settlement, and the estate is not being, there is no corporate trustee. It's not being handled by a professional trust service. We bring that to the table. We also don't require that donors or the charity go out and expend legal fees. So that's not necessary as we set everything up for them. And we also have the ability to help their planned giving directors. So a lot of charities are so small that they don't have planned giving directors. But those that are of a size where they can afford to pay someone to be in that position, these individuals are there to help convey large gifts to the charity. Because let's face it, if there's a button where they can click and donate, most people can do that. But if you have a highly appreciating asset, like a business that you started, or some other property maybe that you developed and now you're going to get hit with capital gains, there is a way to convey that to the charity and everybody wins. Well, that's really the job of a planned giving director. Well, one of the things that we're finding out is that some of these charities, even the large ones, fail to capture those gifts because of the legal expenses and the fact that they kind of lose control of that process, because they have to take the donor, they have to tell the donor, you need to go find an attorney and it's going to cost you a lot of money. And then if you're successful, in a year's time, maybe you'll be able to come back with a trust in place, a charitable remainder trust or something of that sort that you can bring back to us, and we'll eventually get this gift. Well, that doesn't always happen. In fact, we're being told 9 out of 10 times they're losing those donors. The best thing we have to offer right now is the fact that we can bring this type of gift giving in-house for the charity. So the charity can use us, and you're going to be the advisor of record. So everything coming in is going to come in under you, but we can become that service for these charities. So
Yeah,
you can.
Stacy,
Yeah.
let me just real fast. What I want to do is I want to just kind of sort of pause a little bit there, and I want everybody on the call to think about this the same exact way that they think about a lot of our advisor partners that do workshops and seminars, and or they go back to their already existing clients and share with them that they now have estate planning that they can do. It's the same situation that most advisors themselves had dealt with prior to being able to tap into our platform, where they would have to lose the control of the client, have to send them out to an attorney to be able to get all that stuff done. The attorneys aren't on the same levels or have the same agenda, obviously, as the advisor does. And it starts getting, siloed out, as opposed to it all just being under one roof. No different than these foundations that we're finding out about, right, Stacey? That it's the same scenario. Those clients that they introduce maybe this option of a charitable remainder trust, and the client's like, oh yeah, that sounds great. You know, what do I need to do? Well, you got to go see an estate planning attorney. You got to go. It's the same situation. And our platform addresses that, where we can now be able to bring all that in-house. We have our, to your point that you made earlier, Stacy, we can ensure that those allocations that are predetermined, that are going to go to those charities after demise, right upon demise, because we have a strategic partner with Trust Bank, we're guaranteeing these things for the charities, which is going to enable us. We really believe it's going to enable us to be able to start marketing to their supporter base, their donor base, their parishioners, if it's a church, to be able to educate them the same way we educate them now with estate planning, but it's going to be in a much bigger level, and the amount of credibility that you'll have, because for all intents and purposes, we'll be endorsed by them, because we're going to ultimately help them raise funds through education for revenue now that they need in their normal, regular, yearly fundraising goals, and upon demise, because of the platform that we have, to be able to make sure and guarantee that a portion is going to be carved out immediately from their estate when they die, and we know it's going to be guaranteed to happen because of our corporate trustee. But I just wanted to just pause there for a second, Stacy. I'll let you continue, but it's the same scenario that most advisors have dealt with in the area of estate planning, that our platform now enables you to quarterback everything, or with the help of our team in the area of these gift planners that are being paid to raise funds. We'll be able to communicate with them on your behalf. If you bring it to the table, we'll be able to help do all this, and you'll then have potentially, just using the charity that we're working with currently, not to name any names, but the advisor potentially is going to have access to an entire 200,000 donor base. So the law of large numbers tells us that if it's only 1%, that's a lot of potential RLTs or eState plan portfolios that we'll be able to implement in the same exact process that's done that you're doing now. It won't be any different than it is then. It'll still be the end user that's going to need your help and assistance. So in any event, Stacy, I didn't mean to go into too much detail, but I just wanted to pause there, and I'll let you continue going on.
Yeah, that's great, Carter. No problem. So we want you to also know that in this eState plan scenario that we've set up for you advisors, we have said all along, you do not have to become a estate planning expert. You do not have to become estate planning experts in order to fill out sections 1 through 7, pass your clients on to specific trust directive specialist, to training specialist, to the attorney, to the wealth management department. You don't have to know all of those things. You don't have to understand the language in the trust. You just have to know how to point your client in that direction. And we're doing the same thing with charitable cause. You don't have to understand the backside of this flyer here that we're looking at today. If you understand the concepts in the picture on the front side on page 1, we'll make sure that you get a copy of this. Then, yeah, Carter, if you can just scroll back to the infographic, perfect. If you can understand this and you can message this, then if you get an open door through your contacts, then we'll send representatives to talk to a board. We'll put someone on the phone to talk to a planned giving director. And all you are is the conduit, but you're going to capture all of the traffic that comes in. We also want you to know that you don't have to be concerned about the fact that you work with 1 or 2 people. Maybe you're just a one-man band. Maybe you've got only a small office staff. And you're like, I couldn't handle an influx like this, so I don't think this is the right program for me to push. The fact is that we have ways that we can get the phone answered. We have ways that we can handle that influx internally. We'll take that on your behalf. You'll still be the advisor of record, but we can do that for you. So we don't want there to be any barriers for you as you start to talk to your clients about this. And as you go into your networking meeting, for those of you who are networking with a chamber or BNI, or you're part of a mastermind group or something of that sort, start letting them know that we have a way that we can help fund charities. And people start coming out of the woodwork to talk to you.
Yeah, Stacy, let me just jump in right there, because that's the part for me. Whenever I started researching, and just take one step back, originally, before I even knew and understood about nonprofits, in my mind, I always thought, well, nonprofits, that just means that no one's making any money. Well, that can be further from the truth. And here's something that's important for everybody to remember, just in case that, you might have been like me, or are currently like I used to be. Nonprofits, just like for-profit companies, need revenue. It's a necessity. You absolutely have to have it. It's just that 501c3s get it in the form of donations. So they're constantly having to go out to try to sell their story. It's really no different. Their product is their story that they're trying to sell. So everybody's in sales here. When we're meeting with these gift planning, VPs, that's really what they're telling us. They're telling us that they're, selling the story. They're selling everything that's on their website, right? And all the heartstrings, and, a couple of my most closely held foundations that I actually support, Folds of Honor and St. Jude's. They're constantly, I get emails all the time because I donate every single month. They're always constantly trying to raise money. That's just another way of saying they're trying to sell something for you to buy so that they can bring money in. Well, let me just share with you again, everybody on this call, this is an area that is literally ripe for everybody to win. When we've been sharing what we can do for these nonprofits, they are amazed at how we're going to be able to help them raise funds, help them on the front end and on the back end. And to Stacy's point, you do not have to be a specialist. You just have to recognize, you just have to know who the centers of influence are. We will do everything on your behalf and then hand it off to you to be able to help with the same things that you've been doing already. We have the capabilities to be able to be the support that you're going to need, especially because the vast majority of the advisors we do work with, they are going it alone, right? They are a one or two man shop. Maybe they have an assistant, but for the most part, we know that you're out there trying to make it happen. You now have, and this will bring me back to what I was going to say early on in this call. In the handout section in the control panel on the right-hand side, your GoToWebinar control panel, in the handout section, you're going to already have this in there that you can download, as well as our team roster. So that roster is really now your team. You don't have to pay for them. We're all in this thing together for us all to be able to win. But again, we are going to be completely laser focused in this area for the foreseeable future, because it's an untapped win-win opportunity for everybody that's involved, that we ultimately get to help out the donor base, the end user that's connected to a charity. And this is just, we talk about level one, Stacy, right? There's so much more to this that we will be educating everybody on. Today's education is really just to understand that you now have a team that can help you in this capacity. Just like you've had a team help you on just the normal, you're talking to Mr. or Mrs. Jones, or your stranger marketing, or you're already convinced that you now can bring estate planning to the table. We still help in that. We still have the conveyor belt mentality that, we put them on the conveyor belt and we bring them all the way back around to you. All that process that we started in the first place will be implemented here too. But being able to tap into potentially hundreds of thousands of end users that need the services that we provide, that you will now be able to provide, is an amazing opportunity, not just for you, not just for them, not just for us, but for everybody that's on this call today. Everybody here wins, which is why I'm so excited about this opportunity, because it is something that is near and dear to my heart, because I love giving. People love giving. Let me just share one stat that I share with everybody, and I have this as well. If you want reference to this, make sure you call our office here at 888-316-6040. Anybody here can get this to you. But over 60% of Americans have no estate plan whatsoever. None, nothing. Only 17% of Americans have a trust. Now, a lot of that is because of the inefficiencies, the fact that they have to go see an attorney. Traditionally, conventional wisdom tells them that. So just think about 83% of the end users or a donor base, supporter base. 83% is the opportunity of everybody that's involved in that. So if you use those numbers, that we're working with this one foundation right now that has 200,000, that means we have 83% to be able to go after to help them in this area that we know they need, and we'll educate them on why it's so important. So in the handout section, again, is what you see on the screen, as well as our team roster. All of our calendars are on there to be able to if you want to get more information about anything. Stacy's calendar is on there. It's a link. You just click it when you open it up. Just click that. You can get on her calendar for all the things that she does. In fact, Stacy, I think now would be a good time, because I don't want to make this any longer than 45 minutes. It's the Monday after Thanksgiving, and people are probably still trying to, much like myself, get back into the swing of things. But talk a little bit about some of the things that you have been doing with regards to educating not only our advisor partners, but also the clients, and the successes that you've seen there, and some of the stories that you've gotten back from some of those clients that have been onboarded.
So we've had some really cool feedback from some of our seniors who have been trained lately on the platform, because you should be using the 6.2 version of the 7-step process. And we've placed training right in the middle of the client conveyor belt, we'll say that, the client's little spin around the block here with you and the people that are serving your process. And so they get training actually before they even speak with one of our attorneys. And we got some feedback from a couple of different couples. One was in writing and said, man, I really feel served by your team. I just find it's amazing that I've worked with all of these people and I just feel so served. And we've heard other feedback similar to that. What we're doing that's really different here is that we have a chain of contact that we never break with the client. At that first appointment, you're setting 4 more appointments. We don't at any point say, or you shouldn't be, if you're doing this, there is a better way for you. You can increase the speed of the client cycle here. We can do this in 19 to 21 days now. You can make an appointment with Dawn Dacey and then turn right around, and then that afternoon or the next day, based on your client's tolerance for making these appointments, then have another training appointment with me, and you can see, okay, do you want to see the attorney the same day or the next day? These are all phone call appointments. So it's not like the client has to get dressed, find time, get in their car, drive across town, take off work. They're not doing all that. It's a phone call meeting. And so they're happy to make these appointments, and then boom, you can have them right back in your office again for that pre-funding appointment within days. So this has been working out for us, and we've just had a lot of people telling us, wow, this is a neat system. The other thing is they feel that our system is validated because they are working with specialists. And I've had several advisors literally make an appointment with me for when their clients are coming in. The first couple of times they've gone through this, or they've got a toughie coming up and they're feeling a little shaky about going into the conference room with a client, they'll schedule me for that. I'll be on speakerphone, and literally I have advisors saying, hey, you know what? This is a digital system that I'm learning. I know it's amazing, but I don't know how to do everything. I'm not the specialist on this part of it. So I'm going to have you talk to the specialist. And those clients are fine with that. If you feel that that somehow diminishes your credibility, try it, because these clients are talking to me in these appointments and they're going, oh, well, that's great. Oh, yeah, well, that's wonderful. And all right, well, great. And they're just happy to be served. They're getting something that they know that they need, and we're making it pretty painless for them.
Yeah, Stacy, that's absolutely exactly right. And just to sort of piggyback off of that, I want everybody to think about some of the larger companies that you know out there that you've heard of. Ameriprise, Edward Jones, just to name a couple. Those companies are successful because it's not just the advisor. Behind the scenes, and in the broker-dealer world, the largest independent broker-dealer in the country is LPL. Because even though it's the advisor that's, running the show and they're quarterbacking everything, they know that they have an entire team behind them. So do their clients. Well, we now have given that to our advisor partners. That's what you now have. And I promise you, we've seen this time and time and time again. Now that you actually have an entire team behind you and you're not going it alone, the credibility that you now have, I promise, is elevated. The client experience will be elevated. The connectivity to these clients, the opportunity for introductions. What we've put together, because we've been so laser focused on client acquisition and client retention here at CSI Financial Group, we've been that way because we know the big fight you have to put out there all the time against these larger institutions. Well, for all intents and purposes, that's not what you've got. Now, I want to talk just a little bit. I want to sort of wind this down because I want to keep it 45 minutes, and we're coming up on that right now. I want to talk about our cause-related marketing training requirements. This is an amazing opportunity, okay? It's such an amazing opportunity that there is training that you are going to be required to have to take along the way. You don't have to get it all done overnight. Stacy, myself, the rest of our CMS office, we will be training you on all of this stuff, but it's going to be a requirement because it's such a huge opportunity. This is, if you thought anything else was a gimmick possibly before with regards to estate planning, you don't even understand that this is a professionalism that you have to be able to understand a lot of the things that we're going to be doing. We're going to be dealing with these nonprofits, large organizations. So it's going to be required for you to have to know and understand all the things that you're going to be talking about and what we're going to be talking about. So it's going to take a little bit of effort on your part, but I promise you, everybody on this call right now, I promise you, the time that you take to learn and understand the things that we are addressing, it'll be worth it to you in the long run in a way that you never even possibly dreamed of. That's how big of an opportunity this is. But the training that's going to be required of you is there because of the opportunity. You're not going to be able to just fake your way through some of this stuff. So with that, Stacy or Andrew, I'm not sure if you have anything else that you want to interject, but I just wanted to leave everybody on that note that this is serious stuff, serious in the way that it's so beneficial for everybody, but it's so serious in the aspect that you need to take this to another level of professionalism yourself whenever we are going to be doing and talking with the donor bases and the supporter base, because their reputation is obviously on the line. I think everybody can appreciate that. Stacy, do you have anything you want to talk about on that, or Andrew yourself?
I'll just say that, as far as training requirements, we need you to understand the concepts and the things we're bringing to the table. You don't have to be the expert on it. When we're talking to the organizations that you bring to the table, you'll be on those calls. You don't have to speak, but you can, depending on your level of involvement. But we're not going to put you on the spot, but we do need to make sure that that we're able to work the process through you, and that's kind of what we're talking about. I also want to just say that I do teach cause marketing on Thursdays at 11 o'clock Central Time. And if you would like to have the updated training, that now that we're in this program, not just talking about launching it, but now that we're launching it, go ahead and rebook yourself for a Thursday. And most of my Thursdays are available. Those are group training sessions. Of course, if you're listening to this as a recording months down the road, you might want to check my schedule to make sure that that hasn't changed. But I want to get you back in there. So if you've had any training with me, go in and rebook a Thursday with me on cause marketing.
Perfect. Thank you, Stacy, for that. Andrew, do you want to leave us with anything before I wind down the call?
Yeah, I would just say that for folks who are listening to this, the first call to action is just think of it, maybe your church, think of charities that you work with, just write down that list, and then reach out to Stacy and start the training, because one of the things that she will certainly do is help with how you introduce yourself and move that conversation along with the charity or church that you were thinking of.
Yes, and you can also, the illustrations that I showed you in training previously for cause-related marketing, those were not ready for distribution. This handout is, just so you know.
That's exactly right. This handout is for you, and it's a handout that you can be able to literally give to the charities. And then we will facilitate it from there. All you have to do is be connected to them, and we will literally take care of everything else on the back end and keep you as involved as you want to be. And obviously you're going to, want to be able to do that. But this is, again, it's a phenomenal opportunity for the charities that we're talking to. It's a phenomenal opportunity for you to be able to help all those end users, which ultimately that's where our 7 steps of the magic is going to come into play on the back end. And it's a great opportunity for us to be able to assist along the way. So, with that, make sure if you have any questions at all, the handouts, again, you can be able to get onto my calendar. You can get onto Andrew Victor's calendar. Anybody here at the office, you can be able to call here again. Most of the people on the call now, and this is obviously for future listeners because we are recording this, call our offices, ask about the cause-related marketing division, about that initiative that we're doing. The phone number 888-316-6040. Stacy, I want to thank you for all the hard work that you put into making sure that this infographic was exactly the way it needed to be. And Andrew, I want to thank you for all the work that you've been doing whenever, and everybody on this call doesn't even know yet, but the things that Andrew has been putting together to really be able to help those end users with tax planning, tax mitigation. Really, it's kind of sort of an understatement with our entire eState plan portfolio and what we have the capability of doing in a very cost-effective and efficient way that ultimately helps themselves, the charity, and everybody on this call. So with that, I want to thank you all on this Monday after Thanksgiving for hopping on here. 2018, just in case someone's listening to this a year from now. Thank you all for your time. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. You can either email us, call us here at the office, whatever the case may be. I appreciate the time. Everybody have a fantastic week, and happy holidays, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.